After Jesus had been born at Bethlehem in Judea, during the reign of King Herod, some wise men came to Jerusalem from the east. "Where is the infant King of the Jews?" they asked. "We saw his star as it rose and have come to do him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was perturbed, and so was the whole of Jerusalem. He called together all the chief priests and the scribes of the people, and inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. "At Bethlehem in Judea," they told him, "for this is what the prophet wrote. And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, you are by no means least among the leaders of Judah, for out of you will come a leader who will shepherd my people, Israel." Then Herod summoned the wise men to see him privately. He asked them the exact date on which the star had appeared, and sent them on to Bethlehem. "Go and find out all about the child," he said, "and when you have found him, let me know, so that I too may go and do him homage." Having listened to what the king had to say, they set out, and there in front of them was the star they had seen rising. It went forward and halted over the place where the child was. The sight of the star filled them with delight, and going into the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and falling to their knees, they did him homage. Then, opening their treasures, they offered him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. But they were warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, and return to their own country by a different way. This feast of the Epiphany, I think, has particular significance this year. The arrival of the Magi from the east demonstrates that the birth of Christ is God's gift to the world, not just to the few. That the salvation the infant born in Bethlehem brings is offered to everyone, not just to those who heard God's promise. That the love revealed at Christmas is revealed at the Epiphany as a love for all people. But why is that particularly significant this year? Because of the Synod. The arrival of the Gentiles from the east, led by God, reminds us, as much as it made clear to those of Matthew's day, that no one has any greater claim on God's love than anyone else. In fact, no one has any claim on God's love at all. It is gift, pure gift, offered to all. But how's that related to the Synod? Well, at its heart, the Synod is about our experience of God's love, about how our Christian community supports us, helps us to be open to that experience, to feel God's love. The Synod asks us to share with each other what helps and what hinders in that experience. But the questions the Synod has asked us to reflect on acknowledge that the experience of being loved by God isn't limited only to those of one faith, but that it's an experience shared by others of different faiths, and those of no particular religious faith. The Synod recognizes that we not only have something to offer, but we also have much to learn. The revelation of Christ as Saviour of all God's people was challenging to many of those for whom Matthew wrote his Gospel. The arrival of the Magi, Gentiles from the east, challenged many of those who believed that God's promise was made to them and to them alone. And I'm sure many will find some of the opinions expressed as we journey together through the Synod challenging too. But for those who are able to hear of the arrival of the Gentiles in Bethlehem and understand the love of God revealed for all people, their experience of love was deepened immeasurably. That, I think, is the invitation we celebrate today in this feast of the Epiphany. and it is the experience which is offered to us as we become companions on the journey of discovery that is the Synod.